G'day viewers, just a follow-up video on my previous video about neutrinos and photons. This time we'll just concentrate on the neutrinos, and we're looking at some pretty interesting stuff, just using Gary's 3 force bits. And like I said before, I call them gravity bits. And I think the gravity bits give the particles mass. I don't think it's the other way around. We say, oh, you know, mass creates gravity. I think it's the gravity force that creates the mass. It makes sense when you get into it a little bit deeper. I've added 2 extra types of neutrino in there. The first one up here is the simplest type of neutrino with 2 gravity bits. Then you got your electron neutrino with 3 gravity bits, and a muon neutrino with 3 gravity bits. Tau neutrino has 5 gravity bits, and there's another type, a type 5. I can't identify it. There's just the possibility, due to the harmonics of the math, that this type 5 exists, and they're still looking for this sterile neutrino, which I can prove with Gary's gravity bits. And how I worked it out, he gave me 3 bits, 3 basic force bits to work with. So we've got 3 to the power of 3, which equals 27. Subtract the 3 forbidden types, where you've got 3 even gravity bits, or 3 even 3 mass bits, not mass bits, electric bits, or 3 what are they? Magnetic bits, yeah. Now I'm just concentrating on neutrinos so I can get this set in my head, set in my way of thinking. You can't have, like for example, you can have 2 red gravity bits and a black gravity bit, but you can't have 3 blacks or 3 reds. That just doesn't work. They're forbidden bits. Now once again we'll talk about spin, because it's the spin or the chirality that give it memory. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit crazy, but neutrinos have a memory. They remember what they were, and as they go through space, they can change flavour, and they will change flavour by picking up sterile neutrinos and casting them off. The neutrino density, the neutrino flux density of the universe is way greater than originally expected. And this is how they'll pick up extra energy as they're going through, and they'll change. Electron neutrino will change to a muon neutrino, then it'll change to a tau, then it can go back to a muon, and it can go back to an electron neutrino. Anything less than a major universal event, you can't go down from an electron neutrino to a sterile neutrino. That's you're looking at crazy math to get from there to there. But these 3 here, the electron, muon and tau neutrinos, they will sort of interchangeable. That's quite probable. So if this sterile neutrino is the 18th standard particle, and this type 5 here, which I can't identify, if that's the 19th, that still leaves them 6 standard particles that are totally unknown. They're predicted. Now I'm predicting them using Gary's trinary system here. And we'll look at, say this is the nucleus of an atom, and you've got an electron here. If this decays, if this atom decays and ejects this electron neutrino will be ejected as well. So I'm saying this electron neutrino is bonding the electron to the nucleus. It's not just your electric and magnetic forces, it's this thing here as well. So I got a better understanding of neutrinos and how small they are. They're incredibly small. The sterile neutrino, I think it's my guess, just looking at the numbers, it's my guess that is the chief component of dark matter. That's all the mass they're looking for, is gazillions. And what I mean by gazillions is a number too big to to put a number to it. It's just mind-blowing the number of sterile neutrinos there would be in the universe. Now when you look at Gary's force bits and you're thinking, well, they should all be coupled, yeah, they should be, but there will be events where they are temporarily separated and reforming back. But it's very interesting. I've been able to work out a lot of things using the three forces that Gary's given me to work with. So this is just a bit of an update. I'm saying how I've predicted it, how it works for me. You know, this totally destroys the electric universe theory. Not that the electric universe theory is irrelevant, because it's a major component. It's probably one third of the rules that are required for the universe, that dictate universal law. And you know, there's some people that believe it's nothing but the universe is nothing but particles, or the universe is nothing but electricity, or you know, I think it's a combination of all factors working together. And this is just a little update on my neutrino work. Not that I should be wasting time on neutrinos, but then it just gives me a little bit more artwork to my finished picture that I'm looking at. So just a short video for you to explain a few things, and it's very interesting. I'll start working on actual heavier elements, because once we've got this into perspective, we can construct actual electrons from these basic force bits. We can construct quarks using the force bits, and everything is a multiplication or multiple combinations of these force bits. I won't go into anti-gravity because you know, I've been doing some experiments on spinning disks, and from what I see here, I don't think anti-gravity is achievable. However, we can generate forces to go against gravity. Well, you see that when you see aeroplanes flying around in the sky. I think gravity is a fundamental law of the universe. To counteract it, we're going to need to generate some other force to give us lift. But just to talk about spin and motion, say you got motion of a neutron. We use a neutron because it's almost a neutral particle, very high magnetic, but it's very low in electric charge. So you accelerate, you hit it with some force, photon or magnetic field, whatever you want to accelerate it with, and to give it stability it needs spin. And if you add spin to a moving object, you're adding energy, you're adding actual energy to it. So spin's a good thing. So there's two types of motion in the universe. One is linear force, and the second is spin. So you can add spin and linear to a moving physical object, that's not a problem. But what you can't do with a physical object is you can't give it a double rotation. That's where it's rotating in, say, the XY plane and the XZ plane. You can't do that, because as it's travelling along the Z plane, it can only have one rotation to a physical object. But with a neutrino or small particle type or electric object, component, particle, whatever you want to call it, you can have the double spin axis as it's moving, because you find that in the photon. But I'm not going to release my images of a photon just yet. I've given you a couple of snapshots. I'm just going to wait a while and see if anyone else comes up with the same thing, or but I had to do away with the original drawing because it contradicts common sense. Because if you go through the 0 point at any time, that's telling you the photon's not existing. And by redoing my understanding of the photon, I've come up with a diagram where the electric and magnetic fields never reach 0. They go back to the central line, but they're still not 0. They're still existing. So we'll show the photon. This is mainly about neutrinos, this little chat we're having now, or little video I'm making up. That's my understanding, and I'm very interested in it, because it's giving me a better picture, a better solution. But anyway, that's just an update on the neutrinos. Cheers, catch you later.